All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Kyle Alexander, and today I have an exclusive interview with future Howard Bison running back Eden James. Eden, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Do you want to tell people a little bit about your background, or just yeah, just like your story a little bit?
Uh, okay. Well, of course, everybody know me as Eden James. I'm from Port St. Lucie. Right now, I go to Church Coast High School. Soon about to be an alumni. I committed to Howard University. About to be a future Bison, like you said. And I play football. That's really it.
Right. And today we're just gonna ask you a couple questions on your background, high school career, and what you look forward to in college. Um,
Mm.
so first question, what was it like growing up in Florida, and what initially got you into football?
Was like going to Florida. Florida, I'll say it's a culture shock. Because you got everybody down here. I mean, you got all different ethnicities and races down here in this area. And then football, I think I just naturally gravitated towards it. I think it's one of those things where it's like in your blood. So I
Right.
think that's what made me attracted to football.
Mhm. And what was it about football that made you stick with it?
Uh, just, uh, just I don't know. I think it's like this gravitation that I have towards it, and on top of that, just how I'm able to just dominate the game so easily without much of a struggle compared to other kids. And on top of that, based on how good I would like, based on how my performances were, like when it came to football, I think it was just an indicator to me that I could really take this thing to the next level. So I think that's what also allowed me to keep it going.
Right. And on top of that, have you played any other sports that kind of helped you translate into football?
I played basketball. I played baseball. I think I did soccer, but I was probably for 1 year, and I did uh, karate,
Right.
and that's really it. I don't know how they all help me with football, but I'm sure they all have their way of helping or
Right.
contributing.
Right. So given who your father is, were you ever compared to him to where people would be like, okay, your father is the bar, like you have to be as good as him, or people would just be like, you're never going to be as good as him. Like, have you ever gotten any criticism or comparisons like that, and how have you handled that?
Yeah, I've gotten both. I've gotten comparisons to where he's the standard for me, and then I've heard things, well, not directly towards me, but from other people saying like how other people think like I'll probably not be anywhere as good as him because of what you typically see from NFL players or just professional athletes having kids. Like they usually don't live up to what they were once. And so how I've dealt with it, it's still something that I'm still learning. It's still something that I'm learning to deal with, but how I've been able to manage it is I've just I've just had to realize that me and him are two different people, and how he plays the game is different from how I play the game. I mean, we have two different running styles, and then on top of that, another thing that's helped me is what's another thing? Mm, just trying not to buy so much into the whole comparison thing
Right.
because I feel like it's a distraction if anything. So I've just been trying to focus on what I can do and just become the best player that I can be. So
Right.
that's really it.
And also for those of you that don't know, his father is Edgerrin James, played for the Indianapolis Colts. Um, that's like another thing because you see that a lot of oftentimes with some of these professional athletes when they have sons and they get involved in the sport. You see like with LeBron James, for example, you see his son starting to come into the spotlight. So it's like, all right, is he gonna be as good as him? Stuff like that.
Mhm.
I thought that was a great answer. You said you're two different people because I feel like people tend to forget that from time.
Yeah, for sure.
So junior year, I did my research. You had 751 yards and 9 touchdowns in 7 games. So what was the most important thing to you to establish in your first year?
Uh, with that year, I don't necessarily feel like I established anything because I had came off of two injuries. I had tore my meniscus and had got surgery right before the season. And
Right.
then on top of that, I had a high rib fracture. So I had to miss a good portion of the season. And then when I came back, I don't think I came back prepared because even though I put in all this work in the summer, for some reason I just assumed that all that was still going to be there when I came back from my from my injury, and things did not turn out that way. And so I think during that season, I think I learned a lot about myself. But for that season, I was just gradually just taking steps to put myself in the right direction to contribute to the team because I was dealing with a lot of personal issues, and then you had COVID and things. So
Right.
that season, I don't believe I established anything.
All right. And we see your hard work paid off for your following season. As this
Mhm.
past year, senior year, you ran for 2,021 yards and 28 touchdowns. And I also saw that you finished as a top 3 rusher in the state of Florida. So going to this year, what did you want to improve on from the year before?
Uh, I just wanted to leave my mark and let people know that I can really play football because I think that's been the question or the thing that's been going around my name. Like, can he really play football? Especially now that the team was, under my leadership and I was able to, have had the reins this year. So for me, it was just all about going out with a bang. That's really what it was.
Right. And
So
you definitely left your mark with 2,000 yards and 28 touchdowns.
yeah.
Um, all right. So next question, what was the recruiting process like during this year, especially with the time of COVID? I remember last year it wasn't really any visitation. So this year they were starting to open things up with visitation. So what was that whole process like?
uh, it was hell, point blank hell. I mean, with the whole COVID situation, I feel like it messed up a lot of kids, especially me, because coaches couldn't really come out to see you play. They couldn't meet you. They couldn't uh, see what you look like up close because I think a lot of coaches question my size since
Right.
um, there was like this one picture on 24/7 Sports where I looked so small and I was like way back from freshman year. So I think a lot of them were, you know, going based off of that, and I think that kind of affected me. So that, and then on top of that, uh, just just with the oh my god, with the recruiting process, yeah, hell. My bad about this. I thought I had an answer, but
No, you good.
yeah, it was hell. Uh, COVID messed us up because coaches couldn't come see us, and then on top of that, oh yeah, coaches. You would have some coaches, hit you up, talking about they would be looking at you and things like that, and then you wouldn't hear back from them. Then
Right.
you had some schools they'd offer you, and then you wouldn't hear back from them either. And so things like that kind of just made it frustrating because you didn't know who wanted you. Um, and then especially when you have those big schools, you really want to go to those.
Yeah.
But when they're not showing you the interest level that the smaller schools are showing, you kind of gotta, take a seat back uh, and be very logical with yourself. And so I think those are things that kind of made the recruiting process tough, just with the coaches, because coaches are salespeople. I'm not gonna lie to you. They say this big thing about how they love you, like when the top guys on their board, and then they don't show any action
Right.
that represents what they said. So that's what I would say about the recruiting process.
Right.
So you only have so few that are very real and genuine, really want you for who you are. So that's
Mhm.
what I
Right.
say. Yeah.
And that even reminds me of I was listening to Deion Sanders talk about how he recruited Travis Hunter, and he was talking about how he doesn't include like the NIL deals or anything. He just keeps it real. He's like, you're going to get a good education, and you're not going to be guaranteed a starting spot because you're going to have to earn it. So I feel like you really need coaches like that who are really for the players and are going to like be in their circle and like be in their corner to really support them to be the best that they are.
For sure, for sure. Because there's not a lot of coaches like that with that.
Right.
With that,
And like you said, you were getting offers from like some that would be considered big time. So that was kind of going to my next question. You had offers from like Indiana, Miami, and Wake Forest. So what made Howard ultimately the right choice for you in the end?
Uh, I'm just like what I told everybody else. It was just the interest, and then on top of that, the DMV area, the opportunities it provides. We know people up there, and then when I went on my visit, uh, I didn't get to see all the campuses, but from what I saw from like the stadium and some of the facilities, I mean, the facilities aren't nowhere near what you would see at PWI, but it was more of the people. That's what really gravitated me more and more to Howard.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, just like the environment and the people around there.
yeah,
Yeah.
our environment was awesome, especially at homecoming. Loved it.
Oh yeah, homecoming's a big one.
Yeah.
Um, I also noticed that FAMU reached out with an offer. So I
Hmm.
just wanted to know, especially with the big noise of Travis Hunter going to Jackson State. So how important was it for you to attend the HBCU, and did you want to set an example for like other kids in the future for the future?
It didn't really, um, when you first start out, you don't necessarily think about going to HBCU, especially with the way, well, prior, like like going way back, with how people like kind of frowned upon it before, because you want to go to those big time schools like the Wake Forest and Miami's, the Indianas, and so it didn't necessarily become important to me until I realized that that shit I was not. Wait,
Uh,
can you see me?
yeah, I can see.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't really start becoming important to me until I realized that I was going to Howard. And then I started realizing how HBCUs are starting to get more attention and how they're starting to become, a bit of a movement going on. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Why not uh, be one of those few people to, lead a movement and to influence the other kids to join as well. And hopefully we can get more and more to join and show that we can make it to the NFL from the HBCU route and not go to these PWIs.
Right.
So,
And we've even seen in the past before certain guys like Jerry Rice, Michael Strahan, and Doug Williams all went to HBCUs, and Williams was the first African American quarterback to win a Super Bowl. So, I feel like we're starting to see that resemblance come back more in today. And that's definitely big.
mm-hmm.
Here's my favorite part, the comparisons. I just wanted to see which NFL running back, past or present, do you compare yourself to and why? What was one running back you like watch growing up, or you just always looked at as like I'll compare myself to him, or you wanted to like look at his play style?
uh, I don't have specifically one. I mean, I feel like each one that I watched um, was someone that I looked up to during that time period of my life. But I'll say people like my dad, Adrian Peterson. I'm not gonna lie, I used to watch a lot of Le'Veon Bell like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he might really be it because I think my game kind of emulates his in a bit, in a sense, just because of how patient our running stars are. But
Right.
Alvin Kamara, one of my favorite running backs of all time, Fred Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Christian McCaffrey, and then also like Zeke Elliott. I just like how he finishes his runs.
Right.
So I'll say I watch all those guys, but no, I don't have like one in particular because they all do something different that makes them great in their own respective way.
Right.
So
And Fred Taylor, that's an underrated one. Yeah, you don't really hear that a lot.
yeah, I feel like he should get a lot more respect, but it is what it is.
Definitely. You mentioned that you say you looked at after your father a little bit. So what's one skill from your father that you try to emulate the most, or do you believe that you've got into your repertoire the most?
Uh, it's a good one. That's a great question. I'd have to ask him because I wouldn't even know. I mean, he teaches me everything that he's done. He teaches me all the how's it go, tricks of the trade or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he teaches me everything that he knows. So I'm sure there's something that uh, he does that I use that I probably don't realize that I use of it that he does. So I don't
right.
know. That's a good question. I don't know.
I have to go back and find out.
Yeah, I'm about to look on the film or something and then compare the video because I never thought about that.
Yeah. What's one skill set or area that you would like to improve on the most before getting to the college level, and why?
One skill set. To be honest, I just want to work on becoming the best all around back that I can be, because that's the best that you can be in this day and age of football with how versatile they want us backs to be. So that's
Right.
really just the best all around back.
Right. And some of the guys you even mentioned before, like Kamara, McCaffrey, Zeke, Le'Veon Bell, even they can all catch out the backfield and like
Hmm.
line up. So that's one thing for you to look forward to.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
All right. So last question. I feel like do you want to go to the NFL, right? I feel like that's your dream or that's your goal.
For
Or
sure. If that's what I'm destined to be.
all right. So say you're in the draft, which team do you think you would be the best fit on, or which team would you like to go to and why?
Uh I think it's something that you really can't I think that's something that you can't really say, because the NFL will be totally different by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For all I know, the running back might not even be running the ball the way it is now. Like, he might just be strictly catching balls like a receiver. So I really can't say. And then on top of that, everyone's needs are different. So
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna go wherever I want it, and I'm gonna make the best of that. Of that situation, and then go from there. That's really
Right. You see, I got my Ravens jersey on, so we've been dealing with injuries. So you want to
Yes,
help us out a little bit?
man. Oh my God, y'all gonna be good. Y'all got Dobbins. Who else?
Yeah.
I got
Gus.
Gus. They just gotta stay healthy. That's the only problem for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
other than that, y'all good.
All right. Thank you for your time, Eden. And that is all for this interview. Bison, you have something to look forward to on the football field.
Yes,
Yeah. Can't wait to see him get to work.
I mean, I appreciate you, bro.
All right, no problem.